The Furiosa film, serving as a prequel to Mad Max Fury Road, delves into the history of our chief protagonist, Imperator Furiosa. But there's a small bit of that history that I actually want to focus on. It's the relationship between both Furiosa and Praetorian Jack. Now, before this, especially in Fury Road, we never got any hint to this character's existence. But it makes sense that essentially Morton Joe would have multiple different Praetorians and Imperators before Furiosa who would carry out his will upon the wasteland. Jack is very much a road warrior along the lines of our other protagonist, Max. But unlike Max, Jack seems as though he's a decent person in a horrible situation. And what I mean by that is he doesn't seem the monster that most of the other people who work for Immortan Joe seem to be. He's not cruel, he's not sadistic in any way, shape, or form, and he's also not a predator. He genuinely does care about the people on his crew, but also cares for Furiosa as well. And this is very interesting for her character because up until this point, everyone that she's ever encountered outside of the Green Place has wanted to take something from her or wanted something from her. For instance, when you have someone along the lines of Dementus wanted the location of the Green Place. He ended up taking her mother from her by killing her in an attempt to get that information out of a young Furiosa. When she's presented before Immortan Joe wants to raise her because she's a full life in another attempt to essentially have perfect children with her at some point in time down the line. All of the war boys expect her to essentially sacrifice herself for the glory that is Immortan Joe. Even other individuals, such as the Bullet Farmer, and I cannot remember his name, but it's the fat guy with the gold nose. I am truly sorry. They also want the exact same things from her that Immortan Joe wants, which is utter and complete devotion to them because they see themselves as essentially gods of the wasteland. But when she meets Praetorian Jack, she treats Jack the same way that she would all of these other individuals that she has met. She treats him as someone who essentially wants something from her and she gives him hostility. And Jack quickly curbs that and kicks her off of the war rig, which is one of my favorite scenes because I actually thought Jack was going to fall into the vein of being just another douchebag out here on the sands. But then he ends up walking back to get her. And he essentially explains to her, yes, you're a great mechanic. Yes, you have really, really great battle skills. But if you were to leave and go wherever it is that you want to go, you would not survive because you do not know how to survive out here in the wasteland and out here on the road. And I will teach you how to survive. And it's the first time that someone has offered something to Furiosa without wanting something in return. Because even then, when she accepts his bargain, she expects that he wants something back from her. Maybe her body, maybe information about the Green Place. But Praetorian Jack doesn't want anything. When he sees the tattoo on her arm and he questions her about it and she's apprehensive to give him any information, he simply drops the subject and moves on to continue teaching her about ways in order to survive. And then you see this relationship kind of blossom and bloom over, I would say, maybe like a 30-minute span where it doesn't become physical, but there's also this emotional codependence that you more or less were not expecting from Furiosa's character due to how she's essentially portrayed in Fury Road, where there's this head touch between both her and Jack by the stream, where Furiosa essentially washes up and secludes herself from the other inhabitants of the Citadel because it's her secret place, where it's almost sensual in a way that they care about each other to a ridiculous degree. When the situation goes to shit in the Bullet Farm, I believe it wasn't Gastown, it was definitely the Bullet Farm. When the situation goes to shit in the Bullet Farm and they run and they're captured by Dementus, along that chase, she goes to extreme lengths to escape not only from Dementus but also to bring Jack along to the Green Place because I feel like in another reality In another version of the story that we're told, if she was to make it back to the Green Place with Jack, he would have probably ended up being something along the lines of a husband or a boyfriend. But as Dementus bears down upon them, we see that she's willing to sacrifice her arm in order to get revenge for Jack. And it ends up being the driving force of her chasing down Dementus in the end. It's not only for her mother, it's not for the years that she spent in the Citadel, but it's also for the person that, for once, she was able to open up to and actually kind of sort of develop feelings for, even if she didn't understand how to basically reciprocate or translate those feelings in a meaningful way. And one of the things that I love the most is the fact that their relationship is so well known on the Wasteland that one of the ways that Dementus allegedly died was Furiosa essentially killing him the exact same way that he had killed Jack earlier on in the film, and I absolutely love it. I love small touches like this where the relationship isn't something that's pushed in your face. They're just subtle hints that you basically just have to sit back and absorb, and then later on down the line, maybe on a second watching, you put all the clues together and the stars essentially align. But that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, hit a like, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.